Welcome back to History of the Queer, where we honor the voices, both past and present, that have shaped, challenged, and uplifted our community. Today, we re-diving into the life and legacy of one of the most pivotal figures in modern LGBTQ history, Harvey Milk. Harvey wasn't just a politician. He was a visionary, a disruptor, and, above all, a storyteller who understood that hope was not a vague feeling but a political strategy. Before making history in 1977 as one of the first openly gay elected officials in the United States, winning a seat on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, he was a New Yorker, a Navy veteran, a theater kid, and even a Wall Street researcher. But it was in the vibrant, defiant streets of San Francisco's Castro district that he found his purpose. He didn't hide who he was. In an era when so many were forced into silence, Harvey wore his identity not as a secret, but as a shield and a banner. His campaign wasn't built on vague promises. It was built on a very clear, very gay truth, that visibility matters. His famous refrain, "You gotta give 'em hope," wasn't just a slogan, it was an instruction manual. He believed that if people could see us, they would have to reckon with us. If they knew us as neighbors, as friends, as leaders, they could no longer fear us or erase us. But with radical visibility came fierce backlash. Harvey's presence in City Hall was a direct challenge to the old order. He faced venomous opposition, not only from outside the queer community, but from within the political establishment. His most notable rival was Dan White, another supervisor, a former firefighter and police officer who represented a more conservative, traditional vision of the city. Their clashes weren't just personal. They were ideological, fought over a gay rights bill, mental health services, and the soul of San Francisco. Then, on November 27, 1978, tragedy struck. Dan White entered City Hall with a weapon and assassinated Mayor George Moscone and Harvey Milk. Harvey was just 48 years old. The grief was immeasurable, but what followed became its own kind of outrage. At trial, White's attorneys infamously argued that his mental state had been diminished by depression and junk food, the so-called Twinkie Defense. The result, a verdict of voluntary manslaughter, not murder. That decision lit a match on decades of pent-up anger and pain. The night the verdict was announced, thousands took to the streets in the white Night Riots, a raw, righteous explosion of grief that shook San Francisco and sent a clear message to the world. We would not be quiet. We would not be patient. We would not accept injustice. Harvey Milk's story is one of brilliant, world-changing courage and devastating loss. He showed us that simply standing in your truth can be the most revolutionary act of all. He was taken from us far too soon, but the hope he gave us, that demand for visibility, for dignity, for a seat at the table, lives on. It lives in every Pride March, in every coming out story, in every fight for our rights. He reminded us that hope is not passive. Hope is a verb. Hope is a fight. And it's a fight we continue today.